Hello, football fans, and welcome back to the Corner Flag podcast. On this episode, we wrap up the round of 16 and we preview the quarterfinals for the Euros. We discuss all the big news over the last week, and we'll have a bit of a wrap up on the Copa America as well. Hopefully, have a few laughs on the way, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy the Euro show on the Corner Flag podcast. Hello everyone, as always I am Simo and it's been a long week. You might notice that we've got some fresh blood here on the pod today. Bully unfortunately couldn't make it, so he's got some big shoes to fill, but a better hairline, so we're a little bit ahead I think. It's Brad Durant. Brad, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's nothing to sneeze at getting the call up from Bully, so yeah, I'm glad to be here.
And strangely, we've got Danny Sturridge Martinez here 2 weeks in a row. Mate, you feeling okay?
Look, there's a good chance I could break down mid-podcast, but let's hope we get through it all. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, lovely. It is good to have you here. Brad's been on beer duty. He's actually taken all of Bully's role. So if these beers are better than what Bully brought last week, we might keep Brad around. So I reckon we crack these and we have a chat.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
Here we go.
Cheers.
To the corner flag. Okay, we are going to dive straight into it. We're going to kick off with the round of 16 matches. We'll go in date order of the games that came out. So first up, we had Switzerland and Italy. Yep. Just to cast your mind back to last episode, I picked Switzerland to beat Italy in our predictions, just for the record. Some goals to Frula and Vargas. For me...
An absolute screamer by Vargas.
He has been...
Very good.
So good, hasn't he? Danny, what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, look, I think Italy doing what I think I predicted podcast number one and what our expectations were. I just like I mentioned, they just didn't have enough world class players all over the pitch for them to go much deeper than this. In saying that, did Switzerland either? No, but I think that Switzerland are playing. They're giving me big Leverkusen vibes. Like their tempo is just incredibly hard to match at the moment, and I think it's all down to one man, Xhaka.
There was an injury concern over him, but I think he's been...
That's good, but I do want to put something forward, guys, and this is something to put up for discussion, is that Xhaka's just gone and done what he's done with Leverkusen, right? He takes this Switzerland team a little deeper than this.
I know where you're going with this.
I mean, is there shouts for a Modric-esque kind of a Ballon d'Or shout and somehow sneak in with not actually winning anything, but just leading a team all the way through after having a successful club season?
No, we know he's winning the Ballon d'Or this year.
God, could you imagine that? Like it's Messi and Ronaldo for so long, a little bit of Modric in there, and then it's Granit Xhaka.
I mean, there's got to be a conversation at some point soon. If he gets past the
only conversation.
If he gets past the next round, this conversation is happening for sure, and you heard it here first, guys.
Okay, exclusive. Brad, what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, look, obviously, as Danny said, Italy didn't live up to expectations for the whole Euros. I think I've got a lot of Italian fan friends who would certainly agree with that. And obviously, having no Calafiori, the big centre back there, he was missing for the game too. So. And if it wasn't for Donnarumma, then I think it could have been 3 or 4-0 to Switzerland. I've
got that down here. So he's been there and only really shining light the entire tourney, in my opinion.
Well, you mentioned world-class players, and he's probably their only one. I personally said on the pod that I love Chiesa. I think he is top shelf. But, I actually had written down Donnarumma was best on ground. And if you said to me before the game, Switzerland beat Italy, that the Italian goalkeeper was going to be best on ground, I was like, you're dreaming, probably. Yep. If you did this 2 years ago, 4 years ago. But, that was the case we had. So I did also want to touch on just the centre-back pairing for Switzerland, Akanji and Shah. Mm-hmm. They are top-level centre-backs. Like, obviously, Akanji's at City, but, they're Premier League level centre-backs, and they've got some partnership together.
And that's the thing. I know we're going to get into it later of who they're versing next, but they got that Premier League experience. They know a lot of the English players when it comes to that quarterfinal. So that is something concerning.
For sure.
As an England fan myself.
Brad just slid in already that he is an England fan, if you weren't aware. Actually, we should mention our kit.
Yeah.
Just quiet. So if you are listening on Spotify, you obviously can't see, so we'll have a quick run through because I think the kit level is very high today. I'll start with myself. I've gone the Leeds alternate from last year. Very controversial kit for Leeds fans, but I do love it. It's something very different.
It's busy. It comes with its own volume button, I believe.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, my volume was a bit high on the pod last week, so I thought I'd let the shirt do the talkie. But interesting fact about it is apparently this material is just like stretched extremely long, and they just cut it out, so every shirt's actually different.
Wow.
So I'm sure the guys that played all had the same pattern, but yeah, you can actually pick what actual jersey you want based on the pattern that's on it. So
Nice.
interesting fact.
Nice.
Brad, I'm going to throw to you.
Mine's pretty simple. 2022 World Cup away jersey. So
England, for those who aren't
for
watching
England,
on YouTube.
of course. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm assuming they can see the
It's
jersey.
getting a bit
I'm wearing.
tighter this year than it did around 2020, Bradley.
Since retiring pre-2022, put on an extra couple of kgs, but still fits nice and snug.
Nah, looks all right. Looks all right.
Danny?
Look, I've gone ultra retro. I've pulled this one right out of the archives. Passed down from Dad. I've kept the long sleeve vibes alive again from last week. It is winter, so I'll probably appropriately dress, unlike you two. But it's from the 1980s. It's a player issue match worn in what I was told was I don't know where in the world it was played. It wasn't played in Australia, but it was a 3-3 draw with Germany. And the kit man, being the South American that he is, decided he was going to profit on this bag of jerseys that he had. And my dad was able to buy one for $50. So I've got it now. It's got a number 16 on the back, and the number's actually stitched on like old school style. So it's one for the archives.
Very nice. If that V went any deeper, we'd see your pubes. But
Don't want to say that.
There wouldn't be much to see. Don't worry about that.
all right. So we're back into the games and back into the footy. Germany, Denmark was next. I think everyone picked Germany. Havertz scored a penalty. Musiala scored again to jump. I think he's equal now with Golden Boot standings, or is it? Yep, right up there. So, what were your thoughts on the game? Personally, I think never in doubt from Germany. Really,
Look, let's look back at the two big moments in the game. I guess the Denmark offside. I'm not sure if you saw that. That was like, I think it was his big toe was offside. Poor Joachim Andersen.
Yep.
And then within 5 minutes, he then gave away a handball.
I think it's 3 minutes.
Touching his finger. And then they just changed the game. But I think Germany changed their formation. I think I was reading as well to a 3-5-2. So it just shows they can be dynamic and mix things up if need be.
That's one thing that we didn't touch on enough when we spoke about Germany in the group stages last week, is that their style of play. They've got a plan A, a plan B, a plan C. You see that when Havertz plays, he's making deep runs in behind. He's stretching the backs. He's making them think about where he is the whole time. And Germany's not afraid to play a little ball in behind, and they do it quite a bit in the first maybe 50, 60 minutes
Especially
of the game.
Rudiger. Yeah, Rudiger.
And then all of a sudden they switch it up with Fulkrug. They bring number 9 on, completely changes the style of play where it's either a whipper ball into the box or it's trying to find his feet, and it's no longer balls in behind over the top. So Germany's just really hard to predict, and when you've got players like Musiala, busy as in behind, they're just so dynamic. Havertz has been a guy who hasn't been spoken about enough in terms of his quality all tournament. I think he's been great. And I really like Schlotterbeck. I believe he's slotted at the back quite well this tourney. The 24-year-old from Dortmund, he's a very good player. I really like him.
Yes, well, the standard of this podcast just dropped drastically.
Schlotterbeck slotted in the back. You didn't like that one?
You don't have to say it again because we got it, mate. Trust me. Just on Havertz, I think he's one of those players that very easily to come into criticism. I think there was one game he played where he didn't play well, and the German crowd, media fans were like, "Get rid of him, get Fulkrug," because Fulkrug's doing well off the bench.
Yeah.
But the rest of the games, I thought he's been fantastic. To be honest, I think he's in a real different dimension, as you touched on, to a Fulkrug.
I think he's had a pretty good season for Arsenal, right? So
He has.
he's taken that sort of form into the Euros.
But even there, he doesn't get the credit he deserves anywhere that he plays at the moment. I don't know what it is, but yeah, he's just never seen as the reliable go-to guy. And I think for Germany, he has been.
Well, he copped it at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then when Arsenal signed him, they're like, why are we signing him? And he's been, like you said, he's been good for them, but he's also that guy that just, he's one bad game away from being the worst player on the pitch, worst player in the world, so quite drastic there. But we'll scoot into England, Slovakia. For the record, I don't remember your tip, Danny, but I had England to win on pens. I nearly got there.
Close.
I did have a 0-0 though. And it was a little bit, I'm going to say it was slightly more exciting than a couple of the 0-0s they've had so far. Brad, I'm going to throw it to you, Brad.
Brad could just do this entire. I knew Brad had come in. He loaded, so I didn't write anything down for this one.
Yeah, I was just like, England, Slovakia, throw to Brad.
Yeah. Look, I was pulling my hair out for 94 minutes and using a lot of profanities towards certain players and managers of the England squad until Jude pulled out the miraculous bicycle in the last a couple of minutes of the game. But yeah, look, we started the way we played those last two games, having those two draws, very lackluster, very negative. And it wasn't until the last sort of 20 minutes where we started creating actually a few chances. But again, Southgate making changes so late in the game and just strange changes, like bringing on Ivan Toney in the 94th minute. And then we scored, so they ended up being probably our best player in extra time. But what's the point of bringing him on for a minute when we're down 1-0? He's got to come off to like at least 10, 15.
For sure. I know that Brad came loaded with the stats, but I've got one for you. England had 2 shots on target the entire match, including extra time, and it was the 2 goals that they scored.
Yeah, that's right. I think Declan Rice hit the post.
And that was as close as they got.
Harry Kane missed that
But I think
header.
Southgate lives to fight another day. He's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. I mean, there was guys sharpening their pencils ready for the article for the next morning, right? But I don't know how. I feel sorry for Slovakia. They definitely deserved more out of this one. They definitely deserved at least a penalty shootout.
I think it was the commentator's curse. You can hear him as Jude Bellingham is about to line up for the bicycle. He said, Slovakia are about to win their first knockout game in the Euros. Jude Bellingham!
I was actually listening on a Leeds podcast, and they were saying it was the Jesse Marsh Liverpool result. So when Jesse Marsh was coaching Leeds, he got a result against Liverpool, and they reckon that's what kept him in the job for another week. Because they're like, as soon as we lose Liverpool, he's going to get sacked.
Yeah.
And they were the same thing. Southgate's got this win. They're like, okay, you've got another week. Because, look, they're just, like, they could just keep winning 1-0 or whatever, 2-1, and win the Euros, and everybody, like, celebrations would be nuts. But, like, they were saying people were leaving the stadium having qualified for the quarterfinals down.
Yep.
Like, just real negative about it, not happy. And you think, Romania went out and their fans were buzzing. Like, obviously, I know it's a different level.
Standard.
But I'm just saying they were proud of how they played
and
the effort they put in, whereas I feel like the England fans are not.
Well, I think, look, we just have to look at that 5-minute spell of obviously Jude's goal, Harry Kane's goal, and hopefully take some inspiration from that and move on. Because, look, I could sit all day and talk about Southgate, but I've hated him ever since 1996 when he missed that penalty in the Euros against Germany. Little weasel, but I still don't get why he's there. But as I was saying to Danny, we can only blame so much for the manager, and that is what's frustrating about football is managers get sacked here and there. Some of the players have to step up, and like, I love Jude Bellingham, but for 90 minutes he basically did nothing, and then came up with that at the end. So we needed to see. Yeah.
There's players. You look at the other teams that are doing well and that are successful so far in the tournament. Is they've got players that they can rely upon that have been consistently good throughout the entire tournament. They've got a stalwart pair of centre backs who have been unbelievable, or they've got a midfield that's running the show every week. Different guys have been stepping up for different games for England. Not everyone together. Which I think is something that getting deeper into the tournament, they're going to need more than 2 blokes playing well to get through. They're going to come up against a more organised side. It's going to be harder to break down, and they're going to have nothing to show for it. Like 2 shots on target over the space of 120 minutes from a team who you look on paper, look at the goals that they should have in them. Yeah. What was the stat that Bully rattled off in the first one?
Four of them have, 160
goals between them,
and you can rattle off 2 shots on target. Give me a break.
Yeah. Look, it is an interesting one, and what you just to touch on earlier, Brad, you were saying how managers get sacked. It's not all on them, but I think on the flip side as well, managers also get a lot of praise when they probably might not deserve it as well. Like we spoke about England at the last Euros, and it was, did they do that well because of Southgate, or was it because he had the good cattle? Like it's a tough one,
and
when we're not there, they can't have an easier run to this.
That's what I mean.
Like, so when you're not there in the environment, you don't know. And we spoke that with Maddison and Grealish, like as to why they maybe didn't get picked. They might not have fit into that. But I do love a Gareth Southgate press conference.
Oh, what do you got now? What do you got now?
Oh, this one was a cracker as well. So after the game, you said that Ivan Toney had the hump with me after I threw him on the 94th minute. And he was saying that, like, he wasn't happy with me, this, that. But then I said to him, this could be the moment. And it was. Like, he just turned it all to himself and went, like, I did that. Yeah, I knew that I could throw him on with less than 60 seconds to go and he'd be involved in the goal. Yeah. Like, it was just, his press conferences just get better and better. I don't know.
He needs a press team quickly.
Oh, more than that. I do have a question for you, though.
Yep.
Should he bring back the waistcoat?
Well, I'm not a fan of his polos because I got a whole stack of those polos in my wardrobe that he's bringing out. So now I'm kind of not wanting to wear them because I think people start calling me Gareth Southgate, but it's better than calling Slabhead Maguire, I guess.
Absolutely, but To answer the question, yes, as he gets deeper into the tournament, the waistcoat should come back out.
Get out.
Because one of the fans who used to dress in the waistcoat like that. He looked like Gareth Southgate. That was his thing. Now apparently he's just been turning up in polos and no one could tell he's look like.
Like I'll still be singing the Southgate song, as long as we win the Euros.
Yep. Well, you start with the 2 shots for Bellingham's bicycle to be the first shot on target for them. That's just a wild stat. So
Yeah.
all right, we'll move into Spain, Georgia. Spain got up 4-1. Own goal from Lenormand, who's just signed at Atletico Madrid, I believe.
Yes.
Atletico. Then Rodri, Ruiz, Williams, and Olmo. My question I'm going to throw to you, Danny, is Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, are they the best wingers combination at the Euros?
Oh, without a doubt at the moment, and their average age as well is frightening. I've got it written down here that Nico Williams breakout tourney, even though the limelight's been all over Yamal and the fact that he's 16 years old, and I saw comparisons of other great players that are in the mix in world football at the moment, where they were at 16. There was Vinny Jr. Where was he at 16 in the under-17s World Cup? Just different kettle of fish. I think we're dealing with. They're just and they're running the show. Like they're not just playing their part.
Player, yeah.
Nico Williams is taking corners. Lamine Yamal's on free kick duty on the edge of the box. Like you're giving these kind of responsibilities to guys that. I mean, if a 16-year-old tried to take a free kick ahead of me at park football last season, I would have slapped him over there. Let alone in the Euros. Imagine like you're a Rodri, like 16-year-olds on free kick duty. It's crazy what they're doing.
Yep.
They're playing like seasoned 25-year-olds. It's insane. But yeah,
Yamal deserves to be more of because he was in a lot of the action. A few goals that were disallowed and stuff. He was everywhere.
He hasn't scored yet, has he? But he's provided. He's got a fair few assists. I don't believe he's scored, but he's had goals. I think goals disallowed, or he's got very close.
He's very involved.
But yeah, his cross for the goal. I think for the second goal in this game was
his delivery from a left footer from the right side. He's got this real dangerous. It's not necessarily that on target cross, but it's that whip cross that lands right in between the centre. He's done it a few times this tournament.
Yeah.
And Morata's just going, thanks for coming. Or the goal that Carvajal scored in the group games was exactly from that ball. He's just got it nailed. Usually you see a left footer from the left whipping it around into that space.
Yeah.
He's dropping it behind and then it's bouncing. For a goalkeeper, it must be terrible.
It's unreal.
Terrible.
We did say, or my prediction for the Spain-Georgia was that it was going to be men versus boys. Even though Georgia got off to a really good start, I think that in the end they were outclassed. I mean, notable mentions again, Mamadashvili. Somehow, can he still get goalkeeper of the tournament, even being locked out this early? I'd still be voting for him. He's a joke.
Like on the fantasy points that the Euros are running, he's the highest scoring goalkeeper.
Yeah, on the FOTMob ratings as well, he's up there.
And Cravascalia, or Quadradono, as I've been calling him the last few weeks, he was great again. But there's only so much you can ask for one bloke to do against a world-class Spanish side. So I think they did their country proud to get to where they did, and maybe 4-1 is a little bit of a sour point for what it was a successful tournament for them. But men versus boys, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And look, most people probably tip that to happen. I think Spain have just impressed me the whole way around. Like I don't see them, getting outplayed. I don't see them. What I do like is they're not just your classic tiki-taka. They've got those players to do it, but they're happy to go short. That diag's on, or that long ball from Morata's on, or that long. They're happy to do it when it's on, and that's what I love. They're not just going. Whereas I think England are a bit more sideways, keep possession. We'll move it forwards, whatever. We'll try and get it to our wingers, but they're never going. Kyle Walker's not picking up, going, I'm going to spray this out to the left wing and let Foden get on it. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think they've.
I think it's because England's missing a certain player at right back to have those accurate long balls.
There's a
Danny Mills.
Danny Mills. Wow.
Even that we didn't touch on TAA, but that's an interesting. Like it's interesting to see what Southgate does next.
Yeah.
With his midfield, and we'll get there and actually, you know what? We'll preview that in a minute, I suppose. So we'll move into France, Belgium. Now, Brad's got a stat he's dying to tell everyone about France, but it was an own goal from Jan Vertonghen in the 85th minute. Got them over there. Brad, the floor is yours. Do you want to share me your stat?
Are we going to save it for when we talk about Portugal, France, or I can say it now?
No, say it now. Set you up. Just the goals, mate.
Is this the
Do you know what I'm talking about or not?
2006 one?
No, just where their goals have come from.
Okay. Look,
Texted me all day.
Sorry, no. I've got too many stats here on the page. So Look, this is
Statman.
what is making me feel better about England's performances. I guess is these stats coming out about France. But I guess France scored 3 goals this tournament. 2 have been own goals, and 1 was a penalty. Which, with the squad they've got and the attacking threats they've got, is just mind-boggling. So
It is.
it was, I just can't believe it. But surely they're going to step up soon, and you're going to start seeing the goals.
Imagine that was England, like what Southgate would be copying.
I know that, like,
It's crazy, the media, right? Because everyone's going, Didier Deschamps, he's got a plan. It's a plan. It's fine. He's got a plan. However, he's got the trophies to be able to give him a little bit more breathing space from the media, right? He's won everything that he can as a player and as a manager. Give him a break. So he's got a plan. My tip is that France at the moment are a sleeping giant. When they actually click and get it right,
that's right. It's scary.
I think that they're going to be as frightening as what the potential was for them to be. Maybe they're playing their tournament football right. You look historically, teams have been slow to start and they turn it on when they need to turn it on. Now, if Belgium pull their finger at any point in this tournament, then maybe they could have caused an upset here. But once again, another Belgium performance, and I think that for me, it's the end of the golden generation. We're not going to talk about it anymore.
You're segueing me in for my next point. Keep going.
And hopefully the FIFA rankings get accurate at some point, and they start to trickle down somehow, because just because De Bruyne and Lukaku are in there, somehow they're hanging in for the top 3.
So I had a few things from the game, and one of them was, I don't know why, but the press conferences are just getting into my feed. I'm not searching for these; they're coming. So one of the interviewers, I suppose, asked Kevin De Bruyne how disappointing it was for the golden generation to bow out early again. And his response was, what is a golden generation? And the guy kind of looked at him and he's like, you don't think that Spain and France and England, you don't think they're strong like Germany, whatever? And then he just left.
Wow.
Stormed out. He's like, and then he's
Didn't
like,
he call him an idiot?
I think he said this is stupid. It's stupid or something like that, like the question or whatever. So, obviously, there's not everything's right in that Belgium camp.
Yeah,
usually it's the Netherlands. Usually it's the Netherlands that have some sort of infighting and everyone wants to punch on. It's been Belgium at the moment, and even Courtois not being there.
That's right.
We said was
Fell out with the manager, didn't he, in the lead up?
Yeah, I mean, maybe there is that nervousness of no one can actually say what they want to say, because we'll end up like Courtois potentially. But I said it last week. I think this Belgian team has potential all over the pitch. We've spoken about it. They've got a great team on paper, but it just seems like it's De Bruyne and Lukaku waiting for someone else to go, hello.
Yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah, can you give us a hand, please?
Yep.
And it's just not coming.
Lukaku's missed 6 big chances in this tournament in 4 games, so which is leading for the whole Euros.
He's got some stats, hasn't he?
There's more to come.
I've got one here that I quite like, just from that one as well. France-Belgium. France, how many shots do you think they had in the game?
I don't know.
I'm trying to think.
Let's go higher, lower.
A shot. I'm going to
10.
say
More
than 10 shots. Oh, like 19 or something.
19?
19.
How many on target?
On the money.
He's got it written down.
No, it's not.
How many on target out of the 19?
Probably 5.
3.
Jeez.
So 16 attempts off target
Wow.
when you've got Dembele, Mbappe, Griezmann, like all these guys.
Yeah.
You're thinking,
That's what I noticed too. 1 sub they made in that game, France.
this is wild, eh? And I was about to say, like, I thought Deschamps has rotated his squad okay.
They scored near the end as well.
And they've got some big players in on that bench. No matter who you start with, you've got big players. Like, it's a
That's what I
joke.
got a note too is Rabiot got 2 yellows, so he's out. So there's have to be some changes made to the midfield there as
This
well.
is an element that I never pay attention to, but it is so intriguing, especially as you start to get deeper into this tournament. You're missing key players, and those teams that have got the depth, it's fine. Just like, one in, one out, let's go. But players that, I mean, if Bellingham gets another yellow and he misses the next game,
Because it resets after the next round.
Like
Like quarters
resets.
now. It resets now, really.
I don't know. So
But if you got your second in the last
Bell-
game, you'll
so
certainly-
Bellingham's on 1. If he gets a yellow card against Switzerland, he misses the semi
Oh,
final.
really? So it doesn't reset at all.
So the semi-finals, if Bellingham doesn't get a card and he gets a yellow card in the semi, he doesn't miss the final.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I dare say that if Bellingham gets a yellow card next game and England go through, Brad won't even turn the telly on.
Nah, we got Phil
What's that
Foden.
on Sportsbet?
He
Cole
won't
Palmer.
turn the telly on. I'm
Palmer.
telling you right now. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go on to Portugal, Slovenia. 0-0. Ronaldo misses a penalty in extra time. Looks up at the big screen and some tears roll out, or crocodile tears maybe. Thoughts, gents, on the game?
You can start, and then I'm going to flog him.
We know Danny already hates him, but look, it's not a good look. But what the weird one was when he dropped all the players for the third game, but then Ronaldo still started. Is he wanting to get his Euro stats up? Anyway, the big moment for me was Pepe. Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke, slipping over, and then poor Benjamin Šeško one-on-one. He's going to be having nightmares about that for the rest of his career.
Yep.
Could have won the game for his team.
Pepe's 41. Give him a break.
Nah.
He shouldn't have been on that pitch.
Probably lucky to be vertical at 41.
I was hoping they could change the meme from Stevie G to Pepe.
If the ball had gone in, then absolutely it would have been up for it for sure.
But I think the big thing with the Ronaldo is I think he took a free kick just after I saw, and he blasted it over the bar. And then Bruno Fernandes was standing right next to him, like with his hands out, give me a chance, basically. So
because he'd hit two before that. He hit one. He tried to do his little knuckleball, and it just went straight to the keeper. But he hit one earlier that only just went over. There was a nice strike, just went over. But that one, after his penalty, head was gone. No. Out you go. So I just had down, Šeško actually had a few chances, but that was the big one. And that Diogo Costa in goals. I know we're going to talk, obviously, saved all the penalties in the penalty shootout.
That's crazy.
But that save off Šeško was
one-on-one.
Stood up, stayed up.
That's a Dibu Martinez-esque in the World Cup kind of thing, right? I've seen side-by-side photos of that one. But I guess my points on Ronaldo, outside of the tears, I think that it's almost like spoiled brat in a playground kind of thing at the moment. He takes all the shots. He hits all the free kicks. I saw a stat that said in the Euros, he's played in 6 Euros now, he's 0 from 33 free kicks.
Wow.
There's a stat for you, brother. Write that one down.
I'll have to check that.
Zero,
Yeah.
I'm going to email the internet just to check that.
But 0 from 33 in terms of free kick. At some point, when is it someone else's turn? The tears for someone who everyone considers as a high professional athlete who is focused and the mentality is his greatest feature, what everyone talks about, is mentality. For you to do that as the captain of your side, I think it's a massive error, that massive show of weakness to your opposition too. He's rattled. Let's go. If I'm the keeper, I would have been feeding him during the penalty shootout, right? Look, he had balls of steel somehow, and he slotted it really, really well. Side netting just inside the post.
There was a starter pen though, which I like to talk about. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of it either. I think the keepers are limited with what they can do.
Exactly, they're already
they're not allowed to step off the line at all, and then they're not allowed to do the Andrew Redmayne, the Grey Wiggle. They're not allowed to do anything, but I feel like the attacker can do whatever. The attacker should score every time, in theory.
It's in their favour, right?
And if you love Ronaldo or you hate Ronaldo, you'll obviously change the narrative to what it's like to suit you. But Ronaldo was always penalty number 5 in any penalty shootout he's ever done. So he can, if it goes down to the 5th, he can take the winning one and be the hero. He changed to number 1 to again try and redeem himself for missing the other one and making sure that if it doesn't get to the 5th, he has taken one and he hasn't been the one that didn't win it for him. So somehow, as a Messi fan, I can make it. I can spin it in the way that I want it, and he's made it about himself again. Yeah. And every sort of element, I feel he just keeps making it about himself, and it can't be nice to be his teammate. Other than the side that he wins you a lot of games and you win a lot of trophies alongside him, I don't know how nice it would be to be a teammate of his. It's it's always his.
He's the only player that I ever watch when someone else scores. I look to see what he does. Yeah. It was at Real Madrid, and when Gareth Bale scored that bicycle, his reaction was nearly nothing. Yeah. He kind of went, he watched it go in, and you could see him that wasn't me. And then he went arms up at the last second, whereas everyone else was jumping all over, but and I always watch
the penalty shootout, everyone's charging for the keeper, and it was that little bit slower behind everyone. He's it was more like a relief, thank God I didn't.
Yeah. So, but what I took from it, and this is one of the pundits, Chris Sutton, who used to play Chelsea, Blackburn, Celtic, England international. I'm going to read out this quote from him. So this is about Roberto Martinez, the Portuguese coach, about not being brave enough to drop Ronaldo. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
This is a cracker. He goes, I'm looking at Roberto Martinez, someone with such a lack of backbone. I'm surprised he's standing up straight in the technical area.
Oh, my days.
Absolutely. And then he went on and on about it, but he pretty much just touched on what you said, why is he getting to do whatever he wants? There's no one there with the courage to, and look, you don't know the influence he has in the change room in terms of he might be the greatest teammate behind closed doors. You don't know.
They may all worship him. The entire team may worship him undoubtedly, and everything that he does is gospel. And if that's what's going to make that Portugal side tick, fantastic. They could be ticking a whole lot better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The
And
team
maybe
they've got.
they'll be playing better without him. Who knows? We'll never know because Martinez hasn't got the backbone to drop him.
That's right. And in the World Cup in 2 years, he'll be there. And the Euros after that, he'll be there. So...
That's the thing with Portugal and Spain, I guess. Spain has shown that it didn't affect them, but changing your whole team in the last group game, how that can then affect you. Because Portugal just seemed like a different side because obviously dropped the whole team except Ronaldo. Started a bit slow against Slovenia, and it's hard to recover from there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So, Romania, Netherlands. It was 3-0 for the Netherlands. There's a lot of backlash. I don't know if you guys saw this, like from Romanian fans saying it was the worst refereeing performance they've ever seen, and they've been completely ripped off and blah 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 and whatever. And the reason I saw it is because UEFA released a documentary the day after about respecting referees, and all these Romanian fans were commenting like, after that performance yesterday, like you released this doco now, like this is like corrupt UEFA, like
Oh, wow.
I
I
was
think
like,
of moments in the game.
I did the same. Went back. I'm like, did they have like goals disallowed on VAR that I miss? And
Maybe the second Gakpo where they thought, but it didn't go out.
that was just a strange. That was.
That was in.
Anyway, so Gakpo scored to put him back up the top with golden boot as well, and then Doniel Malen got himself a hat trick. Bully's darker lookalike.
Got a hat trick or a double?
He got a double. Just a hat trick?
You did.
Sorry, he got a double.
Yeah.
Gakpo got the other one. So, what did you think, guys, of the game? I've got a really cool stat, so I want to see what you've got.
No, I don't have any stat on this one, but
Yes.
what I was impressed by the most is when you first turn the TV on, you see bright yellow and then bright orange, the fans. Like the atmosphere looked incredible. So I think I got here Romania with a better team to start, and then Gakpo scored a great goal, but it was against the run of play. And then obviously you had Marlon scoring the 2 goals, but it was really Gakpo's work for that second one to tee it up for him.
Gakpo's carrying that team. I think
Yep.
he's fantastic. Him with the help of Xavi Simons, which for a youngster, which we tipped for him to be another big player, how big a role he was going to play. He's playing big roles. I think he's been fantastic.
He's leading with 3 assists for the tournament.
However, I've got it written down here. A little bit controversial. He puts up an Instagram post, obviously to celebrate the win, as a lot of players do. Whether they post them or their press team posts them, I'm not sure. But he did have as part of his caption at the beginning the 2 little symbols of the letter A to notch down that he's got 2 assists.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a look back at Marlon's last goal, I think it was a header cleared out of the box and it was bouncing on the edge of his own 18-yard box. He gets to that ball first, not 3 touches, just a toe poke before the defender gets to it that falls in front of Marlon. Marlon then dribbles 70 metres and slots and he gets an assist for it.
Yep.
And then
I'd have way more assists if they were counting those ones, let me tell you.
He's taken every kick off.
There's been a couple of
I've contributed to this play.
Exactly. That's unbelievable for him to go. So if he's leading assists with
He is.
an assist like
3.
that, red hot. The
What
other
point
one,
do they go, no, that doesn't count?
the other one as well. It was like I think he passed it to Gakpo. Then Gakpo like
did all the work, cut in.
dribbled,
Yeah.
cut inside,
Top
whipped the
bins.
top bins, and it's like, yeah, great ball, Xavi. Well done. Get out of here.
Well,
It's probably more for fantasy points, right? They're going to give someone the 3 points.
my fun stat is that is the first game that the Netherlands have won in the knockout stages of the Euros
Wow.
since 2000,
Wow.
and that was against Yugoslavia.
Wow. They
Don't even exist anymore. 6-1.
Not the year that Poland won the Euros either.
It's definitely not the year that Poland. Check out the internet. For
Oh,
that
in
one.
good days.
But the other thing I did right was that Gakpo is a different beast for Netherlands.
He is.
And my question to you, Brad, is how did Liverpool get that out of him?
Yeah, look, he's been hot and cold, but I'd say more hot than cold. But he sort of gets lost because we've got a lot of different attacking players. Look, I'm very happy with a lot of Liverpool players the way they're playing. Diego Jota coming off the bench for Portugal, McAllister for
Ruben Diaz is getting it done for
Argentina.
Colombia, but we'll get to that later.
Luis Diaz.
Luis Diaz.
Sorry, Luis
Rubens
Diaz.
from Portugal.
Sorry,
But no, super happy. So, but what is his best position? Who does like? Is that where Mo Salah's playing, etc.? So there's a few question marks. Probably the same issues Liverpool's got as what England's having at the moment with a lot of good attacking players, just trying to see where they fit. But very happy to see how he's going to go into, and especially with the Dutch manager coming into, I think that's going to work well for old Cody Gakpo.
No language barrier there for him. Last game of the round of 16 was Austria and Turkey. My dark horses are just coming home
Killing
strong for me. 2-1 win for Turkey. Demiral scored in the first and 59th minute. What a start, just for the record.
Wow.
And Gregoric scored for Austria in the 66th minute. But I think this game will be remembered for the Turkish goalkeeper,
What a save!
Mert
Nice.
Günok.
Save.
His save from Christoph Baumgartner.
Yeah, good player. I'm very
Boom
impressed.
Garden.
Very impressed with him.
Yes, but what a save that was.
Defied all things. That was outrageous.
Physics is probably the word you're looking for.
Logic, physics,
Okay.
all of it.
Okay.
Just incredible. Like, especially also the timing of the game. If that happens in the 5th minute, we'll probably be quick to forget about it. But at the time that it happened as well would have broken some serious Turkish hearts, and surely they're building a statue of him at the moment.
I think they would be.
It's unbelievable. But also Demiral, I heard the commentator say, so there's my fact check for you, that before this game he'd only ever scored 2 goals for Turkey.
Wow.
So
You got a double.
and he got a double. So
He was one where Mary Demiral has been around, I felt like, forever. I was saying to Brad just before we started filming, he's only 26.
Is he?
If you told me he was 35, I would have gone, oh yeah,
yep.
35. 26 and he's playing in Saudi, somewhere out there. So,
Got a cool stat here for the Turkey game.
please, stat me.
So Arda Güler, is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Sure.
Is only the 3rd teenager to score and assist in a Euros. Do you know who the other 2 players are?
Ronaldo?
Teenager. Ronaldo?
I don't know, like a Mesut Ozil or something like that.
Nah, he's
What country?
English.
English Rooney.
Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney and CR7. So it's pretty good caliber of players to be.
Yeah, decent
lined
bit
up
of company
against.
there.
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's a fantastic stat there too, Bradley. Bully would never come up with these just quietly. No way. You're bringing a lot of value.
Fully's spot is under threat.
Yeah.
Like, he's the Gareth Southgate of this podcast.
He's one bad potty away from getting the sack.
And I guess, and on Demiral as
Oh, here
well.
we go. He's going to really
No,
drive the
yeah,
stake
yeah.
into Bully's heart.
Go
now.
on.
He's actually the second choice centre back because I think the other main centre back was suspended with 2 yellows. And Turkey, I was mentioning to Simo before the pod, 18 yellow cards in 4 games. So many players suspended in and out. So it's even hard to keep track of who's going to be.
Kalanoglu was out.
Yeah, so he'll be back for the.
Let's put it down to passion. I know a lot of passionate Turks, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
18
that'll
in
be-
yellow. I think the next
Getting him in some trouble.
check on 12. So
You're probably Devo, only 18. Like, can you guys have a go or what? Like,
Get stuck in.
I think compared to Netherlands, have had 4 yellow cards in 4 games. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So that brings the wrap of the quarters, of the round of 16. Sorry, we'll now do a little bit of a preview on the quarters, if that's cool. So, again, I'll go in date order. First up, and it'll be the same side of the draw. So we've got Spain, Germany.
wow.
We
2
just,
a.m. Australian time, 6th of July.
I'll be up.
You'll be up.
Might still be up, to be fair. Could be a big Friday.
It's a hard time, isn't it? It's a hard time. Like, do I stay up? Do I go to sleep, try and wake up? It is tough, but that will be a game to watch. Can I get your predictions, your thoughts, whatever? So that's Saturday morning, 2 a.m.
Yeah, look, I've got Spain to win 2-1. I think that they've just got so much firepower going forward. Not to say that Germany doesn't. I've spoken nothing but highly of Germany. I think this one's just going to be a battle of the heavyweights, and unfortunately on the sides of the draw that they've fallen, this would have been an absolutely phenomenal final, if not a semi. Instead, we get it really early. So 2-1 for me.
I think we can all agree that they've been the 2 best performing teams so far in the Euros. Even Sportsbet's got them at $2.70 and $2.75 head to head. So, but you mentioned before about exciting
Tips too. He's everywhere.
Sportsbet. If you want to sponsor, just jump on board. And you spoke before about does Spain have the most exciting young wingers? So essentially, it's the 2 best young wingers versing each other. We've got Wirtz and Musiala for Germany.
Yeah.
They just play a complete different style though. Like they're very much that inverted,
Attacking midfield.
more of
almost.
a couple of tens.
So it's going to depend who they're
Whereas-
coming up against. But then again, Germany, they're going to play Havertz or they're going to bring Füllkrug on. But yeah, a player I've been really impressed with has been Fabian Ruiz from PSG.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Is he at PSG? Is he? I didn't
PSG.
even. I mean, for me, just
28.
Kevin
I was
Rudd.
actually thinking, is he like a Toni Kroos replacement at Real Madrid for 4 or 5 years? I'm sure there'll be a lot of teams trying to sign him. But Rudiger is on 1 yellow, so is Caraval and Morata, so they'll be careful for next game. But I've got 2-2 draw and the hosts winning on pens, so Germany going through.
If it goes to pens, they are efficient.
Yeah.
The Germans. It's like a Volkswagen dealer. Like just
Manuel Neuer in goal, but Simon also a very good goalkeeper too.
wonder if they were going to see any goalkeeper subs. Like if it goes to pens in the 119th minute, just
You're gonna bring the old Raya on for it.
any. I don't know if it's even not in this
Just-
game, but any game. You love to see it.
The fact that the Germans have even got Ter Stegen on the bench, right?
Yeah.
Which is such a world-class goalkeeper who just doesn't get an absolute minute, and he's going to go through his entire.
Like how many
international
caps do
career.
you think he has?
He wouldn't have many. Manuel Neuer never gets injured. He's a brick wall.
He'd probably have 10.
For a top 5 keeper in the world, I would say.
Yeah.
He is. I'm going to find out right now
10.
how many caps he's got.
Done.
What?
Okay, he's got 40 caps.
Oh, okay. Well,
Imagine how many he'd have
without
if Neuer wasn't there.
Yeah, all of Neuer's added onto that, mate. Because he's a beast. But anyway.
But yeah, it's about. Well, speaking of Neuer, Spain and Germany played each other in the 2010 World Cup. Toni Kroos and Manuel Neuer was playing in that game against Spain.
Whoa. What about you? Who you got?
I'm going to go... Oh, it's so hard, isn't it? I'm going to go Germany 2-1 extra time. That's my thoughts. I could also see this just sitting at 0-0, real cagey affair, having a go, but not... Yeah, I could... For the two teams have been so exciting, it could be one where they just sort of cancel each other out a little bit, because if we go end to end, if Germany go, yeah, we're going to have a crack at them, they'll get done. But if Spain go on, they'll probably get done as well. So could be 0-0, could be 6-5. I don't know, man.
It'll be a chess match. So basically, you gave us absolutely nothing there, Simo. It could be anything. Fantastic. Thank you for that.
Yes, pretty much. I gave you absolutely nothing. Manuel Neuer, no idea how many caps he's got. So there you go.
160.
Something like that. We're going to move into Portugal, France. So if you look at what side of the draw is lopsided, it is this side. Spain, Germany, Portugal, France. What are our tips for Portugal, France?
The sleeping giant awakes for me. I think 1-0 to France. Even go as far as to say...
Wake up or roll over? 1-0.
They're in tournament mode. They're just going to be super efficient, just going to get it done. Mbappe will score.
Or own goal, Ruben Diaz.
Not another own goal, surely not. But no, I think the France will get him 1-0.
All right, I've got a lot of stats here, so just bear with me. But this is such a
I can
cool,
make my decision after all your
cool
stats.
game. It's so they've met each other 7 times in the last 20 years, which I thought was pretty low. Obviously,
Is that at tournaments or just everywhere?
No, just everywhere in that period of time. 2016 Euro final. Everyone remembers Eder scoring that random goal in extra time. The most boring Euro final ever.
Yep.
I
I think Ronaldo made it about himself. He was the coach that day.
He got injured and pretended to coach. Yeah.
Speaking of Ronaldo, so I sent this to you boys yesterday, but they also met each other 2006 World Cup semi-final. France won 1-0. It was held in Germany as well on the exact same date that this weekend's game being played on the 5th of July, which I thought was wild.
Wow.
But another interesting stat from that game is Cristiano Ronaldo was playing for Portugal, which is 18 years ago, which is wild. And he was playing against Lilian Thuram, who now his son is playing Marcus Thuram for France against Ronaldo. So Ronaldo's playing against Thuram's son.
Father and son.
I thought it was wild.
That is crazy.
Imagine that. That's...
And Willie Sagnol, the coach of Georgia, was actually playing right back for France that day. Another random stuff.
Wow.
How do you put all this together? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, you would have thought that you got the call up about 2 weeks ago with the amount of information you rattled off in 24 hours.
He's just staying prepared. It's all okay. Simo might call me.
And then everyone saw the Kante stat as well. 19 tournament games for France, yet to lose 13 wins and 6 draws when Kante starts. So on the back of that, I picked the same as Danny. France 1-0. I think it's going to be a cagey affair. 1 goal.
Just on
Mbappe stepping up.
Just on that Kante stat alone, you'd load up, wouldn't you? What's the sports bet odds there, Bradley? Let's go.
France $2.37. Portugal $3.40.
There it is.
All right, well, I'll buck the trend then. I'm going to go Portugal. Thanks, mate. I'm going to go Portugal 2-1. And I'm just going to go out on a limb and say who's scoring for 2-1. Bruno Fernandes will score and Conceição will score off the bench.
Oh, nice.
Greasy will score for France. And who knows, Ronaldo might get sent off or something. I don't know. Somehow he'll make it about himself. They'll be 2-1 up and he'll just 2-foot someone for no reason.
Yeah.
Probably won't happen, but there you go. I'm going to back Portugal, long story short. On the other side of the draw, Netherlands, Turkey. Gents.
Daniel?
You can go, Bradley. What do you got? Rattle off some things.
So, yeah, I think we've mentioned before, Çalhanoğlu is back. Turkey's going to be without Okan Kokul and Ismail Yüksek, if I've pronounced those correctly. So I think they're 2 of the midfielders, so that might be a bit of a loss there for the Turks. Head-to-head, last time they played each other, 2021, Netherlands won 6-1. But the game before that, Turkey won 4-2. So a lot of goals.
Got a high scorer on our hands, I think.
Got a high scorer.
Okay.
So Turkey hasn't kept a clean sheet in 7 matches. So it's a tight one, but I'm going to go Netherlands in a 3-2 win.
And do you think Van Dijk will get dribbled past for the first time in his
I
career?
don't think he has. I was looking at that stat earlier.
Yeah?
Still
Yeah,
yet to be.
Brad's- 0.
Brad's got that one written down as definitely
I think-
0 dribbled pass. Yeah.
I think Arsenal
Ever.
fans using that for Saliba now too. So
Just quietly, he's been excellent too.
very good.
He has been
Very good.
So,
That French.
Danny? Sorry, what was your tip?
Netherlands 3-2.
Danny?
That's a lot of goals. I might get up for that one if that's the case, Bradley.
That's your last 2 games, 7 and 6.
Look, Netherlands 2-0. I think Turkey's done their dash. This is as far as I think that they'll go. The way that Gakpo's playing at the moment, I think that he'll bag himself probably 2. I really like that Marlon. I haven't watched him too much. He's been also exciting to watch, but I just love Xavi Simons. He's also probably got the best set of corners I've seen at a football tournament. Sorry. I like Netherlands. How they're looking.
They've also got the worst set in Memphis Depay.
So, what was Bully
on
called?
average, they're doing okay.
Alan Iverson.
Yeah,
Alan Iverson.
big AI.
Big AI.
Hasn't he just been terrible? Like, he had a nice free kick the other day, but he's done nothing.
But what else have they got? They got Weghorst off the bench. But one player that isn't getting any minutes, which we spoke about Leverkusen heaps, is Jeremy Frimpong. 14 goals, 10 assists in the German Bundesliga this year, and can't get a look in.
I think he played the second game. He played right wing, but that's.
But maybe use him like that. But that was just. But yeah, they're pretty stacked in the back line anyway. The old Dutch.
They are. I'll go Turkey 3-0. No, I won't. I think Netherlands will do them. I'm afraid Turkey. I'm sorry, it's the end of their road. I think, but I think it'll be tight. I know that history says a lot of goals, but I think it'll be a 1-0, and Turkey will just bomb it on the last 5, and Van Dijk will just, I don't know, head them all away on his own.
We've got Brad here for all the stats, and you've gone completely against every statistic he's rattled off.
Yeah, because the law of averages says that it's time for a change.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. And the other one is England-Switzerland, which is on Sunday at 2 a.m. These are the alternate flags. We've got the red with the white cross and the white with the red cross. I'm going to throw to Brad first for his in-depth England pre-analysis.
Yes, I got
Do
here.
you want to step out, Danny? Want a break?
I need to go to the bathroom soon, Brad, so make it snappy, mate.
So Xhaka has been deemed fit to start, which is obviously not a good thing for England because they've been a bit of a big threat, the Swiss. But a big stat I found is the rumour is Luke Shaw's going to start at left back for England. The last time these two teams met, England won 2-1. Luke Shaw scored and assisted. So I think it's just written in the stars that he's going to come back. But the Swiss haven't lost in the last 8 matches. Tough one, but I'm hoping that the Bellingham, Harry Kane goals are going to spur us on, and I've picked an England 2-0 win. Surprise, surprise.
Lovely. I've got a stat for you, Bradley. There's not a single English Premier League player has scored so far for England this tourney.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Which is...
Well, that's not hard with Bellingham and
Kane.
and people have scored.
It's a stat nonetheless, and it's correct. So leave that one with me, guys.
All right. Well, there's no La Liga players or English Premier League players scored for France either. It's just Mbappe. That's it. No Serie A players.
No one has scored for France. Look, I'm going to go England 1-0. It's going to be another boring one. I think that somehow they'll jag a goal at the moment. I'm not sure where from. Maybe Harry Kane from the penalty spot. I think they'll get it done. And Switzerland will stop here, and Granit Xhaka will still get Ballon d'Or at the end of it all.
And a big note for England as well is no Mark Guay, who arguably has been our best player
He has been
this tournament. So 2 yellow cards, he's out. So I think Konsa will be coming in.
And you've got some players. England's got some players on yellow on.
That's right.
Threats, haven't they?
So we've got Foden, Bellingham, and Mainu all on yellows, and then Xhaka and Doy and Fuller for the Swiss are all on yellow.
Players getting
all the
pulled.
good players.
Yeah, all the good players are getting booked. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to go classic 0-0. 0-0 after extra time. England on pens.
Oof.
And I'm going to say he'll hook Pickford and throw Ramsdale on.
You're making Brad feel sick already.
We've had too many 0-0 draws, and too many times you've been knocked out in pens in tournaments.
Yep, so I'll be asleep at about 2:03 a.m. that game, I think. But if Southgate, I'll say, if Southgate comes out with the waistcoat on, I'll go England 4-0. Okay,
Change it all for us.
yeah, it'll be absolutely
anything.
So that brings us to the end of the quarters.
For the Euros.
Danny, I'm going to throw you for some cop. Unless we've got any other news or pressing issues, any more stats you want to throw our way?
Some random stats here.
Have you colour coded that, or you just pen ran it?
Nah, it's colour coded just so I know what I'm
Can you talk me through
talking
your
about
colour
here.
coding
Oh, nah, it's too
Don't do that.
confusing.
There's not enough time on the pod, mate.
It only works in my own
People
head.
start tuning out before the copper segment.
So I thought a crazy stat was only 3 red cards across the tournament so far. Scotland and 2 to the Czech. 11 penalties have only been given, which I thought is pretty low. Normally a lot of penalties in tournaments.
Because Messi's not playing this tournament.
We'll get to that.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
And then, so only 2 pens been missed, Paul, CR7 and Modric. That's about it for the stats. I think that's well and truly enough.
Cool. Anything else, Danny, to add Euros before we shift into Copa America?
You just said it just then, and I had it written down. I hadn't commented on it. That BBC reporter who threw that little super onto the screen saying Cristiano Ronaldo had to have lost his job. But
I can't believe that was real. When you said it, I thought,
look,
I don't know, someone's edited it.
I mean, the internet is quick to make things up. I could be wrong here, but it looked phenomenal. And why didn't we all think of this earlier? It's actually so good. But all right, onto the Copa. Let's call it the Super League equivalent of the Premier League here in Australia. It's kind of been the bit more nowhere near as glossy. But I think that there's only a couple of standout teams at the moment that are really showing potential. Argentina with Martinez double. Quite a controversial double in my opinion. If you've seen the goals, especially the second one, he shoved this bloke. The guy stumbles over in the box and then somehow he dinks it over the keeper and he goes and he looks like an absolute superstar. But he's now on 4 goals. He's leading the Copa Golden Boot at the moment. There again, I think they're in tournament mode. They're cruising. They play without Messi. They got the job done. I think Messi's got a bit of an injury, which is why he was rested. Chile's Gonskis, as a Uruguayan, you're kind of a little bit happy about it, to be fair.
Bit,
Yeah. So
They're on the same team, haven't they, since 2014?
I think so, and I think it's about time they actually start producing something else.
They got this left back. I can't remember his name now, or maybe the right back, centre back. He's just been there forever, and I can't remember his name. I'm gonna find
Not Meadle, not Gary Meadle.
Medel. Gary
Yeah.
Medel.
Yeah.
He's 400.
But look, at the moment, I mean, US also go out as the hosts, which is the first ever time in the Copa America history that the hosts go out. It's a very different
Wow.
roster of countries, but it is what it
See
is.
that press conference with the US manager? All he kept talking about was stats. Oh, our XG rating, we hit this number and that number, but then it hasn't been turning into
You're out.
goals.
Yeah.
The team at the moment, look, I haven't said anything about Uruguay, but the team at the moment that's really surprised me and is looking very, very good is Colombia. I mean, with the results in the group phases now, Uruguay avoids Colombia and now is tipped with Brazil, which you would never have thought in a million years would be the preferred game. And I think the way that Brazil is playing at the moment, the way Colombia is playing, James is just turning it on.
Yeah.
They look dangerous off every set piece because of the way he's whipping balls in. He had these 2 free kicks from about 35, 40 yards out. They were meant to be crosses and they should have been crosses. And he's tried to surprise the goalkeeper, hitting him near post, and he was so close twice. But Brazil, there's just, like I said last time, they're just lacking something. And now going into the Uruguay game with no Vini Jr. due to 2 yellow cards, which is huge for Uruguay. Even bigger for Brazil. So it's going to be an interesting next round. Do you have the?
I've got it here.
You've got the teams you want to rattle off? I've got them here as well, but you can.
So I'll just with the group stage. So Argentina and Canada went through in their group. Venezuela and Ecuador from Group B. Uruguay and Panama from Group C. So USA missed out, and Colombia and Brazil went through in Group D. Interestingly, only 2 countries outside of South America got through. That's Panama and Canada. Not probably the 2 you'd pick.
Probably US and Mexico, right? Would have been the favourites.
Exactly right. Mexico finished 3rd in their group, missed out on goal difference. And obviously the US finished 3rd as well, only picking up the 1 win. So the knockout stage, so this will come out Friday morning, 6 a.m. So Friday morning, 11 a.m., Argentina, Ecuador.
Nice.
And then Saturday morning, Venezuela, Canada. So that's the top half of the...
Venezuela, apart from Uruguay and Argentina, the only other team that's unbeaten, they've won 3 games, which is...
What was their group like?
They had Ecuador, Mexico, and Jamaica. So there's no heavyweights in there. But Ecuador...
Still got to win the games.
Ecuador in more recent times has been up there in terms of qualifying for World Cups and mixing it with the big boys. And they overcame them as well. So there's a little sneaky dark horse and they may cause some trouble. But
the bottom half's definitely more stacked. You've got Colombia, Panama, and Uruguay, Brazil. So it's a shame, but it does open up probably a pretty easy run for Argentina to get to the final. And who they're playing, like of those 4 teams, you've got to obviously cross Panama out, sadly, but Colombia, Uruguay, Brazil, could be any one of them, to be honest. And for me personally, the way Uruguay are playing, not biased, I do love Bielsa, and I'm Uruguayan blood now apparently.
That's it.
But if they can get through Brazil, I think they run over. I know Colombia have been playing well, but the way that the Uruguay are playing with that Bielsa press all over the park, James won't be able to keep up. He'll be isolated.
In true Bielsa fashion, he's really got everyone in that camp believing, and it's a dangerous mix of Bielsa's intensity and the way he plays, mixed with what's known as the charrua, which is that sort of fight in a fight that the Uruguayans have. It's probably some of our most. Yeah, the only issue here is we set the expectations really high. We actually, I think we're all starting to believe as a nation that Uruguayans can do it.
It's coming home. Coming home to Uruguay.
It's coming to casa.
Coming to casa. But, I mean, only time will tell. First big one is Brazil, and no matter how poor they're playing, Brazil's just going to get up for that one. And it's going to be, I think.
Look at the last game. You guys beat them 2-0 in Uruguay. That's where Neymar, I don't think we've ever seen him since. He got injured in that game.
That's right.
2023.
Uruguay, we'll sort him out.
Exactly right.
But Bielsa was coaching there too, so he's like Uruguay obviously always had the quality and talent, whatever, but he's transformed. Like when you watch them play, you're like, oh, this is a Bielsa team. This is not just, Uruguay in the past, probably a little bit, happy to go a bit long ball and fight. And what was the word you used?
Charrua.
Yeah. Okay, they're happy to do that. Now they're combining that with an absolute game plan. So I think that's a great pickup for them to appoint him as a coach. So give me a prediction, Danny. Argentina, Ecuador.
Argentina. We'll sort that one out. I reckon even Messi, they might even rest Messi for that one as well, I think, and they'll go through, I think.
Same?
Yeah, I think I got Argentina to win 2-0. $1.44 on Sportsbet, if anyone's wondering.
Venezuela, Canada.
Daniel?
I mean, Venezuela's been looking good. I think that it'd be rude for a non-South American team to go any further than here, I think. So I think Venezuela will do the job.
I'm going to go complete opposite to that. I've got here 0-0 Canada, big upset on pens.
I had Canada too, and only purely just because when I watched them play Argentina, I thought they played really well. And if they were playing against any other team and they took their chances, they would have won. So I reckon they've definitely got it. Could go either way.
Also, for those watching in an effort to solve any confusion, apart from the grand final, every game leading up now in this knockout phase, there is no extra time in the Copa America. It goes from 90 minutes straight to pens.
Oh, wow.
So you'll see the 90 minutes over, it'll go straight to penalty shootout.
Because everyone will fall asleep after if it goes for any longer.
I mean, the amount of time wasting that would happen in extra time as well. The game would go for 3.5 hours.
So we've added 14 minutes of extra time here. Fair enough, Danny. You got some stats. I have to fact check it, but you've got some stats.
I mean, the fact that Brad could come in and take either of our posies anymore, I had to make sure my game was on point today.
I get kicked off my own podcast, so I've got some issues, man.
Brad could be hosting next week.
With just 2 other randos. Colombia, Panama.
Look, Colombia for me has been super impressive. I hope that they peak against Panama, and then after that, it's absolutely garbage. But James Rodriguez has been looking unreal, like proper baller at the moment.
With Diaz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, look, Colombia haven't lost in 25 matches. Huge stat. Versing the likes of Argentina and Brazil every week in qualifications. So, yeah, I've got 3-0 here, Colombia. Nice, easy win.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. And back Panama score just because they got an ex-Leeds coach as their coach. And then Uruguay, Brazil.
It's in Vegas. How cool is that? Uruguay versus Brazil in Vegas.
It's at that stage.
All the Brazilians are going to be at the casino.
Well, that's why Vinny Jr. got 2 yellows. I'm going to go with Uruguay here. I think that they'll get it done. They're in some of the best form of their life, playing against a team who's probably in some of their worst form. All of the comments that Ronaldinho made probably coming to fruition. I think a poor result in the last game with only a Rafinha free kick, which was a very nice free kick.
It was a very good free kick.
But that's the only thing that they were able to produce over 90 minutes. I think that they'll produce even less against Uruguay the way Uruguay is at the moment. So hopefully they get it done.
Yep, no bias from me. Obviously, my best mate being Uruguayan and my business partner being Uruguayan. But I've got Uruguay on pens, but late substitution. El Pistolero Suarez comes on as keeper.
As goalkeeper.
Brings back
think it's-
2010 versus Ghana.
You can actually
Suarez
do it.
in goal.
He'll do it legally, but it's actually, I think he's. I saw a shirt get presented to him today for 140 matches. I don't know if this game against Brazil will be his 140th or he's just played his 140th, but it's a lot of games for your country. I think he'll go down as our greatest ever. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna go Uruguay 2-1, but I'm picking a few red cards in this one. I reckon it's gonna
Lots of
get
fights.
feisty, especially if Uruguay get out in front. You could just see Militao or someone just going straight through somebody, and it all kicking off, and then Uruguayans reacting, and then we'll see the real Copa America. It'll just be all in fly kicks and stuff.
What about Endrick? Is he going to start for Brazil?
I mean, I think that the hype for him was, I think the media caught the sort of wrong intention of the hype. He's going to be the next greatest. He isn't right now.
Yeah.
But I think everyone was like, he's coming into this Copa America. He's going to be our savior. They gave him number 9. They probably shouldn't have done that.
Is Gabriel Jesus, is he injured?
They didn't take him.
I know
not sure.
Richarlison's injured.
I'm not sure there, but I think that, I mean, he can come on, and he came on in those 2 friendlies leading up to,
Scored against England
yeah,
on
and
his
he's-
debut, I think it was.
and he scored against Mexico in the 90-something minute, and they went, well, finally we've got the guy, but let's give him a break. He's no Lamine Yamal.
Imagine
Okay.
that Monday, England wins the Euros, what'd you say, 5 a.m. And then 3 hours later, Uruguay's playing the Copa. Big parties.
Could be calling in sick, boss.
It's a
It's a
wild
banger, that one.
Right in the middle of school holidays, like I'm buzzing. I can't wait. So that brings us to the end, gents. Unless we've got anything we want to add.
Nah, it's been great.
What a weekend of football. 11 a.m. tomorrow, Bender all weekend into
Nice.
11 o'clock on Sunday, Uruguay versus Brazil.
How good.
Phenomenal.
Can't wait.
No sleeping. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. Really
Thanks for
appreciate
having me.
spending your time here. Brad, congrats on the debut.
Yep.
We'll get some fan feedback to see whether we get Bully or Brad or.
Can we?
I don't know.
Now that you've got a couple of people, you can probably set up a poll to see who they want next. That could be controversial, but also a lot of fun.
Do you want Statman Brad?
We get
Or Pepe.
4 microphones.
I feel like I'm gonna get stitched up here, especially with like Eddie's comments the other week. Eddie's, if you're watching again, I know you are because you're a massive fan of me. Don't do me dirty there.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, whether that's listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube. Please make sure you are subscribed to us on those and give us a follow on Instagram, share, like, comment on all of our feeds, all of our stuff that we put out. It definitely makes a big difference for us, and it does help us as well. We do love the fans engaging with us too, so please make sure you respond to any questions that come up on the stories or polls or anything like that. So thank you so much for choosing to score some goals with us, and remember to celebrate with the corner flag.